Sebastian, if you had just seen it up there. The ship rode on the wind, and they filled the sky with fire.
Okay, listen to me. The human world is a mess.
Hello and welcome to a deep dive into the dark origins of The Little Mermaid. My name is Faris Jones, and today we're going to explore the story's origins, its journey over the years, and what makes it so unique. The story of The Little Mermaid was written by Hans Christian Andersen, a Danish author who lived in the 19th century. Andersen is known for his fairy tales, which were often much darker than the versions we know today. The original Little Mermaid story was published in 1837 and tells the story of a young mermaid who falls in love with a human prince. While Ariel yearns to experience life on land, her sisters actually visited the surface world once every year, and she would hear their stories from their time there when they returned to the ocean. It's only when Ariel is allowed to venture to the surface that she spots Prince Eric on the ship, and the events thereafter are similar to that of the Disney classic. She rescues the prince, but he doesn't know that it's her, even after she becomes a human. In Andersen's story, Ariel learns that humans don't live as long as mermaids, who live for 300 years, but that their souls live forever, whereas mermaids dissolve into sea foam and become one with the ocean. So while Ariel wants to be on land because she falls in love with Eric, she also likes the idea of having an eternal soul, which is what propels her to go to Ursula. It's here where the Little Mermaid story takes a major detour from Disney's iteration. After making a deal with the Sea Witch, the Little Mermaid is told that she can never return to the sea alive, and the only way to gain an eternal soul is to earn Prince Eric's love. Ariel loses her voice by way of losing her tongue, but she gains the ability to dance really well. But while Ariel becomes Eric's companion, he never actually falls in love with her like he does in the animated movie. Rather, Prince Eric ends up marrying the princess he believes saved his life, which is a major departure from Disney's version of events. The animated Disney movie alters Ursula's spell so that Ariel is able to return to the sea as a mermaid if she and Eric don't share a true love's kiss. What's more, Andersen's iteration heavily centers the eternal soul aspect, something Disney removes from the story entirely. Ariel's sisters are also a lot more involved in Andersen's story than in Disney's version, where they're not really active within the narrative. Sebastian and Flounder, Ariel's sea friends, are also not a part of the original story at all, nor is Trident an influence on his daughter's actions. Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid is fairly grim compared to Disney's story, which brightens things up immensely. The details of Ursula's spell include Ariel walking on her feet is an excruciatingly painful act, as though she's walking on knives. The Little Mermaid's sisters also make a deal with Ursula to reverse their sister's spell. It includes a dagger, given in exchange for Ariel's sister's long hair, that Ariel must use to kill Eric, which would allow her to return to the sea as a mermaid instead of turning to sea foam. What's more, after drinking the Sea Witch's poison, the Little Mermaid is made to feel like the poison is a sword piercing her body that leaves her unconscious on shore. Andersen's original story is not unlike that of the Grimm brothers, whose fairy tales were a lot darker than Disney's adaptations, and included Cinderella's stepsisters cutting off a heel and toes to fit into the glass slipper. Disney's filmmakers decided to cut out a lot of the darker elements, and the violence specifically, within all of their fairy tales and not just the Little Mermaid. This aligns with the studio's image and reputation for offering more family-friendly fare. The Little Mermaid gets what she wants in the Disney animation, living on land as a human and marrying Prince Eric, who falls in love with her over the course of the film. In Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid, the title character's story ends much differently. After being given the dagger by her sisters, Ariel is unable to kill Eric and dives into the sea knowing that she will be transformed into sea foam. So the Little Mermaid does essentially die in Andersen's version of the story. However, despite becoming sea foam, she doesn't stop existing as she once believed she would. Rather, Ariel becomes an earthly spirit with the potential to obtain an eternal soul if she commits to good deeds for mankind over the next 300 years. Andersen's The Little Mermaid ending is not as happy as the Disney version, as Ariel essentially sacrifices her life without getting with Eric, who never falls in love with her and marries someone else. He also never learns that it was Ariel who saved his life, and not the neighboring princess who finds him on the beach. The Little Mermaid suffers the consequences of the deal she made with Ursula. And though Ariel dies, Andersen's ending isn't wholly tragic, with the Little Mermaid working towards getting an eternal soul. In conclusion, The Little Mermaid has undergone a significant transformation over the years, from a dark and haunting tale to a classic Disney animated musical. Despite the differences in the two stories, both versions share the message of love and the dangers of sacrificing everything for it. Hans Christian Andersen's story has continued to capture the hearts of readers for generations, reminding us of the cost of true love and the importance of accepting that sometimes it's okay to let a dream go. Thank you for joining me in exploring the origins of The Little Mermaid. Remember to like, follow and subscribe and leave me a comment of what story I should take on next. Till next time, may your pain be champagne. Good night.